All right, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to do a quick government required risk disclaimer for everybody. Trading is risky. You can lose a lot of money trading. This is not financial advice to any of you guys watching this video. This information that I'm going to provide for you guys is purely entertainment only. So let's get straight into this video. We're going to be doing another trade breakdown on the trade that I took today on NASDAQ futures. And let's go into these charts, you guys. So as I continue to do these trade breakdowns for you guys, I'm going to keep doing the same process because I really want you guys to understand, like, I truly do follow a process, right? So starting with the daily time frame, right? The daily time frame, looking at the daily chart, that's what we're going to be doing now. So first thing I do is look at the most previous day on the daily. See, did we break out the top? Did we break out the bottom? Right. That's always one of the first questions I ask myself when I'm doing my technical analysis and when I'm trying to figure out the daily bias. Right. Did we break out the top? Did we break out the bottom? And as you guys can see, we broke out the top first. Right. We got a first presented fair value gap right here. I'm going to delete that. Don't really want to have too much on my chart right now. Going to delete this as well. And then I'm going to delete this as well, right? So you guys can see right here, we broke out the top of up here. And the market kept going, right? It's not like we barely broke out the top and then we just came crashing right back down. We broke out the top, then we kept going. So what do that tell you, right? Well, obviously, I told you guys from my daily bias series that normally when you continue to break out the top, it's indicative of a uptrending market, right? And even without knowing that, you could just basically look at the daily time frame and see that, hey, we're uptrending as well, right? We're respecting these order blocks, right? These red candles on the daily, we're respecting those, right? Price has never came or below any of these order blocks and invalidated these order blocks, right? So we are very bullish. So knowing that, after I did that little bit of information, I dropped down to the 4-hour to see, okay, what am I seeing on the 4-hour? I'm not really seeing much on the 4-hour. So I just keep dropping down. All right. The next thing I'm gonna do is drop down into the 1-hour time frame. And then obviously I'm not seeing anything on the 1-hour as well, right? Remember, let's put this vertical line on the chart. Our 9 a.m. candle is right here. So as you guys can see, the 1-hour isn't telling me much. The 4-hour isn't telling me much. So that's when I start to drop down to the smaller time frames, right? To, get all of my information. So right here, where I put my vertical line on the 9 a.m. candle, you guys can see this is where the market started to open up at. Right around here, we're going to move this and put it on the 9/29 candle, right? So you guys can see exactly where the market opened up at. So what I had mapped out on my chart was I had the 8:30 news, right? The gap that was caused by the CPI news, and I had this high on my chart because at the time this was the daily high, right? If I show you guys some of the previous price action on a 1-minute time frame, you guys can see that we made a high back here. Market came down, eventually took that high out. Pretty much every high it made, it kept taking it out, right? So the only thing I did was I went to go find where's the liquidity, right? And the first thing I seen on the 1-minute was these two equal lows up in here. Let me zoom in. Right? You guys can see these two lows, they're not like perfectly equal, but they're relatively equal, right? And that's how ICT teaches it to us. So we had these two equal lows. I put my little liquidity line on that, and that was going to be my target, right? I didn't know if the market would even want to come back to this area at all, right? Because the market is very bullish. So after I found this little area of liquidity, the only thing I have to do then is wait, right? Just wait to see if the market is going to give me some type of a sign that, hey, we want to come down and sweep this liquidity, right? So as you guys can see, as soon as the market opened up, it spiked up immediately, took out this little swing high right here, and then it started to come down into this 830 news gap, right? And even before all of this happened, the fact that the market came down into this 830 news gap the first time had already, showed me that we could possibly sweep this level down here, because if the market is really bullish and we're going to just keep flying to the upside, typically what you will see is either one of two things, right? You're going to see the market just come right before this 830 gap and never touch it and just keep going up, or you might see the market come up and touch the top of this 830 news gap and then just continue to fly up as well. So the fact that, the market went all the way down into this 830 gap was already giving me information that, hey, the market is likely going to want to come down here and sweep this liquidity down here, right? So the only thing I did from here was I missed this turtle soup entry right here because, it's too early. The market had just opened. And even if I was confident enough to take it, I don't think I would have got an entry all the way up here anyways, right? So what I was doing was essentially just looking at the 1 minute time frame. We're breaking down past these 1 minute swing lows right here. So that's a little bit of a market structure shift on a 1 minute time frame. And then I just started to essentially take my trades from there, started to get into the market as it's going down. And then right here, we created let me zoom in for you guys. So, and then right here, we created a little order block right here. And then once we created that, I started to add in as we continue to go down. And I probably got out like right before this pink line, right? I didn't stop. I mean, I didn't hold my trade for the whole entire take profit, but I did manage to make about 1960 on my FunderPro account and about $940 on my Tradeify account, right? So all in all, it was a good day. Very simple trade. Just showing you guys how we use the daily bias, how we find liquidity, and how we use liquidity to essentially get into the market. Notice, I haven't really talked much about a fair value gap. I haven't really talked much about a order block. I'm mostly showing you guys daily bias and liquidity, right? I pretty much just use those two things to get into the market, right? So I was getting in here. This wasn't really that big of a move from here to here, only about 60 points. So, I knew it wasn't going to be that much of a big day, but I was a bit surprised to see that the market really didn't keep going as high as I thought it could go. I thought it was going to be flying all today, but maybe it's going to save that for tomorrow, or maybe it's just not going to continue to go up that much after this at all. I don't know. I don't really try to predict those things, but this was my target right here. It did get hit. And then after that, after it got hit, you guys could see we started to get a little bit, choppy. We came down, hit it again, and then eventually we swept this little short-term liquidity up here. And, you guys can see we've been hanging around these levels all day pretty much. So, it's a bit choppy. That's why I had to just take my trade, made some profits, and then time to close out the charts, because, you don't want to continue to have to be chasing these little small 30, 40-point moves, and then it's giving you this chop all throughout the day. Notice how when the market opened, it kind of gave us this. This was fairly clean, right? This is not that bad. But once you got to sit through all of this type of chop back and forth, it's very exhausting, and you don't really want to be a part of those type of markets. But notice how this 830 news gap had such a significant effect on the price action today, right? So I just want to also throw that little gem in there for those of you who may be new to ICT concepts. I know a lot of you veteran people already know this, but whenever there's an 830 news event like NFP, CPI, or PPI, always box up that 830 gap if there's a gap to box up, right? Always box that gap that comes out, because that's going to give you a lot of information about, you know, price action throughout that day, right? Throughout that trading session. So what I would do now is I would take this vertical line off my chart. I will move this liquidity line up to the high, right? Because that's going to be our liquidity for either today or tomorrow or next week, whenever else. I can move this off of my chart now because, you know, you guys already pretty much know. That that was the liquidity that I was using from earlier. And I will probably move this down a little bit because this will be the new area of liquidity that I will be looking at. And if I wanted to, you know, put another short-term high or low, I would put this short-term high up here on my chart as well, right? There's a little bit of a short-term high up there. So those are the two short-term levels of liquidity that I will be looking at. Then I got the daily high that I'm looking at right there. And then if you scroll down, right, we have these two daily lows on my chart as well, right? Then we have the new week opening gap down here as well. So pretty much done trading for the day. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure y'all slap a like on this video. Leave a comment down below if y'all, you know, have any questions, have any videos, ideas that you guys want me to do. Also, don't forget, FunderPro link in the description below. Shout out to all of y'all who have been using my FunderPro link. I do have a link for Tradeify and other companies as well, but me personally, I just like Tradeify. I just like FunderPro a little bit more than the other companies right now. So I'm only going to suggest y'all to do, you know, the best thing that y'all could possibly do, which I believe FunderPro is one of the best companies. So just, if y'all want to check them out, they got futures now. They got a one phase. Make sure y'all check them out as well. If y'all want to trade signals from me, that link is in the description below as well. Not mandatory or anything like that. You know, I'm not trying to act like I'm the best trader in the world or anything like that, but that is there if you guys want to interact with me, pick my brain, do some one-on-one sessions. I do believe I can help pretty much anybody at this point improve their trading skills and take their trading skills to the next level, especially if you're studying ICT. I've been studying ICT for almost 3 years now, like nonstop, and I've learned so much, and that's one of the reasons why I have a channel, is just so I can try to give back to some of the newer traders and keep you guys inspired, keep you guys motivated. So that's going to be the end of this video. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. See y'all in the next one. Peace.